Now, the South African National Cycling Championships are currently taking place in Swellendam. Ryan Gibbons looks to be the man to beat this weekend. Let's quickly head over to Cape Town, where my colleague Justin Ford is. He's, of course, been following all this action, and he joins us now live from Swellendam. Justin, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Firstly, I think we seem to be having some technical issues there with Justin. Hopefully we'll get him back shortly. Justin, do we have you back now? Okay, let's quickly move on for now. We'll hopefully get Justin back now. Over to this, Heki Butler will not be headlining the Mpumalanga boxing tournament this afternoon. His Tanzanian opponent has struggled to make the required weight limit, forcing the cancellation of the bout. Hamidu Kwata was Butler's replacement opponent after fellow Tanzanian Musin Kizota withdrew from the fight, and that was sadly due to him testing positive for COVID-19.
I'll give the bad news now, but the prep was brilliant. We were training super hard. We were ready to fight. Weight was perfect. It was probably one of my best camps I've had. And like you said, I haven't fought you for more than 2 years. And my opponent comes in 4 Ks over the weight limit. The BSA bylaws state that your opponent in the lighter weights, I think it's under lightweight or something, you're not allowed to be more than 2.5 Ks over the limit. He had an hour, they gave him 2, he lost only 350 grams, so he was still 3.6 Ks over the limit, so we're not allowed to have the fight. It's just not possible.
Right, now we do seem to have my colleague Justin back, who's in Swellendam, all the way in Cape Town at the cycling event. Justin, good afternoon to you. Of course, it is a prestigious event crowning the national champion in their chosen discipline for their respective gender and age group. How are things faring in Swellendam this afternoon?
Yeah, good afternoon, Nicole. A very chilly Swellendam, but I think for now the cyclists would welcome that type of weather, just in order for them to prepare for the big day tomorrow, being the road championships. Yesterday saw them compete in the time trial events, with Candice Lill and Ryan Gibbons winning the respective elite men and women categories. But to speak to the event organization, and at a time during COVID-19 that has impacted many sporting events in cities and little towns in and around the country, I have Anton Groenewald, the municipal manager in Swellendam, with me. Anton, to speak to the events and the lack of events and the struggles that you guys have gone through, surely very happy to be able to host the South African Road and Time Trial Championships.
Absolutely. It's been the impact of COVID on small towns like ours, where the tourism sector represents 30 to 40% of businesses, 30 to 40% of the employment opportunities. Events like this provide, under normal circumstances, a fantastic injection. This time around, it's part of our recovery strategy to make sure that we can bring people into town safely, under safe conditions, obviously complying with the COVID regulations, and helping to just help the town to recover. And as we face potentially the end of a second wave and the beginning of a third wave, a temporary respite for all of us and for our businesses and our people in employment here.
We ourselves try to find accommodation in the area for tomorrow's event, not able to. Very happy, the bed and breakfast, the Airbnbs around here, to know that the complement of competitors as well as the volunteers assisting with the event has taken all that up. How have things been received in the fraternity itself?
It's been absolutely excellent, with just over 700 participants between the time trial and the road race tomorrow. We're expecting something between 1,400 and 1,800 visitors, guests, technical crew, support teams and so forth. And so we're looking at an injection of between 4 and 6 million. We're doing an economic impact study to demonstrate the value of events such as this. And obviously, in discussion with Cycling South Africa, depending on the success tomorrow, we'd like to look at a slightly longer-term relationship to look at extending the nature of these kinds of agreements.
You've been able to put together an event of this nature. Sports fans are still not allowed to attend any events. We've been in the city where Cape Town Stadium is saying, they would like to have at least a certain amount of people. Being able to put an event like this together, has it shown that there is potentially room to work within the realms of COVID-19?
Absolutely, we've had to think differently. The limitations on level 1 has meant that we had to restrict the way in which the event was designed. Also, the event is located in parts of the town where people cannot congregate. And so we've had to reconfigure the route, reconfigure the layout. People have been very complimentary and supportive of the fact that we cannot host thousands of spectators. The original event was scheduled to finish on the very road in front of us, which is obviously the Swellendam's main road. But because of these restrictions, we've restructured the layout. People have been accommodating. I think for smaller towns and for event organizers, if COVID continues, you need to think differently. And between ourselves, Cycling South Africa, and all of the various technical parties, it required getting together virtually, meeting on different platforms to come up with a solution. And I think, and it didn't have to cost much more. And that was the important thing, was just thinking differently. How do you work with the regulations to try and achieve an objective? And I think when you have enough parties pursuing the same thing, it's easier to do. And that's what we've done in this case.
Early start tomorrow morning for the cyclists, but a 6:30 start for the paracyclists. Surely an exciting time to really see, the best of the best in South Africa compete in what is an Olympic year.
Absolutely. For us, the prestige, obviously, it's an Olympic qualifier. It's a World Championship qualifier. We were very concerned initially that they wanted to include the paracyclists because of the special demands. I'm very pleased to say we were able to accommodate all of Cycling South Africa's requirements, and that nobody got left behind as a result of the way in which it was structured. So we still aim to be inclusive even under these conditions. Obviously tomorrow, I hope the weather holds. It's expected to be 23 degrees, a little bit chilly, but I think cyclists prefer the cooler weather rather than the heat, which is also associated with Swellendam.
Fantastic. Anton, thank you very much for your time. We surely are excited, Nicole, to be here tomorrow, whole day, and really just give an insight into what the cycling fraternity in South Africa is looking like. How strong are we, as Anton mentioned, into the World Champs as well as the Para and Olympic Games later this year.
Thank you for that, Justin. We are also excited, and we will touch base again with you tomorrow.